Hey, coming at you almost live from, not almost, but really live, coming at you live from way out west in upstate Tokyo. This is Japan Talk, the official GAIJIN50 Plus live stream. Well, welcome to our very first live stream here at GAIJIN50 Plus. We're going to call it Japan Talk just for fun. And this is our first one. We're thinking about doing this on a regular basis. I don't know if it'll be weekly or every other week or a couple times a month or what. Yeah, it depends on how successful this one is. So what I'm going to be doing in this live stream is I'm going to be talking about some Japan news items that happened during the week, and I'll also be telling you some news about this channel. And I hope that all of you will find all of this information interesting. Anyway, welcome. I just saw my first, we got a couple of guests here. My first two guests. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for coming. Please feel free to say hello in the comments there. So first of all, we'll do a little bit of Japan news here. Did you know that Japan is getting ready to, or not getting ready to, they have established a JDOJ agency. That is, they're taking a page out of Donald Trump's book, and they have decided to start an agency whose job it will be to review Japanese spending and suggest ways to make it more efficient and to cut costs and make the use of the Japanese taxpayer dollars more efficient. Now, which is a good thing in Japan, because as we all know, Japan is awash in red ink. Japan is in really big trouble as far as deficits are concerned. And so they're trying to do their best to get out of the pickle that they're in. I think that's behind a lot of Takaichi's, that has to do with a lot of Takaichi's raising of fees on the immigrants and things like that, and on the visas, on the departure fee, departure tax, and all that kind of thing. They're just trying to raise more money. Besides this JDOJ, which I hope will work, they're also going to be doing, excuse me, I'm looking at the comments as they come in and I'm getting distracted. There's also news that they're going to be raising taxes, which is always bad news. They're going to definitely raise the tobacco tax and the sin taxes, and they're talking about raising the income tax, which has a lot of people upset because we have quite high inflation here in Japan. Prices are going up and up every day, every week almost, and rice has like doubled in price over the past couple of months. And the income, the pay that the people are getting, the salaries that people are getting from their companies has not been going up, or not going up that much. So people are saying, well, you know, how you're going to try to squeeze blood out of a stone or what? So we're going to pay attention and see what happens on that. But they are talking about raising taxes, and they have started a Department of Government Efficiency over here in Japan, and I hope that department is successful. We got another piece of news that's a little bit of old news, but maybe not for this group. Before my channel got a lot of subscribers, I reported on the mayor of Maebashi up in Gunma Prefecture. Now this is a woman. Her name is Akira Ogawa, and she's 42 years old, not a bad looking woman. And some magazine discovered that she was going to a love hotel with one of her married subordinates, a guy who has a wife and kids, and they were spending time in a love hotel. And when questioned about it, she admitted it. She came clean. I mean, what else was she going to do? And she said, and they found out that she had been to a love hotel with this guy more than 10 times, believe it or not. And so they asked her about it, and she said, by the way, she's an ex-lawyer, and you'll soon believe in a moment, but she basically said, I did not have sex with that man, you know, and sound familiar, real Clinton-esque there. But she said, you know, we never we were going to a love hotel, but we didn't do the dirty. She said that, well, if we went to a restaurant or a regular hotel's dining room or something like that, people would be able to watch us and they'd be wondering what we were doing. And I wanted to speak to this guy in, confidentially. And so we went to a love hotel where nobody would see it. Pretty good. Well, evidently somebody did see it, and now she's in big trouble. But the government of the city said, okay, we're going to have a no confidence motion. And she said, go ahead, have your no confidence motion. And about a week or two ago, she said, if you kick me out, I'm going to run in the next election. And so the no confidence motion started going forward. And finally, she quit. She resigned, and she said, I can't put my city through all of this. And so I'm going to quit. I'm going to resign. And in the end, she said, I haven't made up my mind yet if I'm going to run for re-election in the election to replace me. So it was pretty hilarious because, like I said, she was in front of the camera with a straight face, said, yeah, we went to the hotel, Love Hotel, more than 10 times, but we didn't do anything. It was, I guess she was polling the electorate or something over there. Okay, another bit of news that we have from Japan here. Human washing machines. Japan is really famous for its high-tech toilet, and evidently they want to do the same thing for bathing equipment. So there's a company that is making a product called the Mirai Ningen Sentaki, which means futuristic human washing machine. And evidently this thing is humongous. It's like 7.5 feet, which is 2.3 meters long. And you get inside and you sort of lay back and it scrubs you and washes you. And you just lay there and you let it take care of you. And the company claims that they've already got some orders from certain hotels that they'll be installing. And then they came out and said, we're going to sell this thing for home use. Now, if anybody here has ever been in a Japanese home, the first question is, where are you going to put it? 7.5 feet long. I mean, this thing's humongous. And they said, well, all you got to do is buy it and we'll install it. And the thing costs 60 million yen. That's 6 with a 0 after it. 60 million yen, which is about $400,000 US. So if you're interested, you can track this down and place your order. But, even besides the price, I start thinking about this thing, Okay, it's got water going in and it's got soap going in and these brushes. Don't you think that the thing might become a little scummy after a while? We all know what a bathroom is like, where you take a bath and, it can get pretty scummy if you're not cleaning it all the time. So this kind of a washing machine in the house or in a hotel with other people using it, would you use it? I wouldn't. I think it would be a little bit questionable. Okay. All right. The next news story that we have here is the foreign population in Japan. I know we're all interested in this. And so the foreign population in Japan, according to the news story that I read, is really on the upswing. And in 10 of Japan's prefectures, the foreign population has more than doubled in the past 10 years, which I found to be pretty amazing. Doubling of a population, more than doubling of a population in 10 years is quite a thing. No wonder Japanese people are complaining about all the gaijins running around here. And of course, a lot of these foreigners are moving into the rural areas that are having labor shortages to replace the Japanese who are not there to do the work. The prefecture with the biggest change was Kumamoto, down in my Japan hometown of Kyushu. And they said that in the past 10 years, their population has tripled in size. So Kumamoto's Kumamoto didn't have that many people living there to begin with, but even so, tripling of the population over 10 years is quite a rapid rate. Other prefectures that had a big rise were Hokkaido, Okinawa, and 2 other prefectures in Kyushu. They round out the top 5. Now, Japan is, of course, pushing to get workers to come in, and they're trying to get students who come to study in Japan. They're trying to get them to stay here and work, and they're trying to get them to work in the rural areas and outside of Tokyo. The problem is a lot of these foreign workers, once they get a visa, once they get to Japan, they want to move to Tokyo or Osaka or some other big metropolitan area, because that's where the money is, that's where the good jobs are, that's where the comfortable living situation is, living environment is. So they're having a hard time keeping even foreign workers in the countryside, because the foreign workers want to go to Tokyo too, Tokyo and other big cities. I got to be careful. Otherwise, the residents of Osaka and that will become angry at me. Now, I'll tell you my joke, my usual joke that I always make. There are only two places in Japan, Tokyo and not Tokyo. And I don't mean that to demean Osaka or Fukuoka or Sapporo or the other fine big cities in Japan, but I'm talking about the Japanese mindset. Even the Japanese language is skewed towards Tokyo. Did you know that a train headed towards Tokyo, no matter whether it's from the north, south, east, and west, is called Nobori Densha? Nobori means to go up, to ascend. So any train headed for Tokyo in the Japanese language is said to be ascending to Tokyo. And any train traveling away from Tokyo is called a Kudari Densha, and Kudari means to go down or descend. So towards Tokyo is ascend, away from Tokyo is descend. You know, it's just a language. Maybe I'm putting too much thought into it, but it is a fact that Japanese language does say that, and that is a fact of the Japanese language and the kanji used to write those words in Japanese. So anyway, foreign population is on the rise in 10 prefectures, but a lot of these people, once they get here, their dream is to get into Tokyo. All right, our next story is an interesting one, really cracked me up, it really made me laugh. And this is about AI. Now, AI, here we go. AI is a big issue at the university where I teach, because a lot of the teachers hate AI, and they're really down on students who use AI, as if you're going to jam that genie back into the bottle. But this story that I came up with today is a quote by SoftBank Masayoshi Son. He's the CEO, and he's also an AI investor at SoftBank. And he was in an interview, and he said recently that there's a new wave of artificial intelligence coming up, and he's called advanced artificial intelligence. And he said that once advanced artificial intelligence becomes established, that we, human beings, will be about on the same level as fish compared to advanced artificial intelligence. And he described a future in which advanced AI surpasses humans by a magnitude, he said, of 10,000. So AI will be 10,000 smarter than you and me pretty soon. And he said, well, the difference between the human brain and a goldfish is about 10,000. So in fact, when advanced AI gets established, we will be the goldfish, then AI will be the human, because AI will be 10,000 times smarter. Now, that's nice, and it's cute. And I know what Son was saying, if the goldfish sort of sits there and enjoys life, what's the old saying? You owning nothing but being happy. But what Son doesn't remember is that we eat fish, don't we? And we catch them for sport. So, nobody knows what's going to happen with AI. I can't claim to say that I know. I like technological advances, and people are predicting all kinds of things for AI in the future. Whether they will all come true, who knows? But we are on the way there. Now, I had a couple of commenters in our comments saying, "Oh, your script sounds like it was written by AI." Two commenters said that. Two different commenters on two different videos at two different times. I was pretty I would say upset, but I was a little bit bothered by those opinions. Number one, they're untrue. I'll admit that I do use AI, but I don't say to AI, "Hey AI, write me a script," and then get the script and read it. As you can tell with all the ums and ahs and missteps that I do during my narrations, that I'm not reading from a script. What I do is I prepare bullet points. If you look at this, you can see this is not an AI script, right? I just make some notes and I try to hit those beats during the presentation. But I do use AI. I like AI. I think AI is very, very good for certain tasks. AI is also infuriating in a lot of ways. All right, I'll tell you a story. I was going to do a video. If you want, I'll still do it. I was going to do a video called ChatGPT and Me. And I was going to tell the story of how I became infatuated with ChatGPT and how eventually the tingle became a chill there. But I really loved ChatGPT when I first encountered it, because I thought, wow. And in fact, I used to run around and tell my friends, if ChatGPT were a woman, I'd marry it. But of course I didn't, and I wouldn't. But then over time, I found out, yeah, ChatGPT is like marriage. You know, there are really good times and there are some pretty terrible times. Even getting ready for this live stream. This is the other news I got to tell you later. But even getting ready for this live stream, I was asking ChatGPT, what do I do for this? What do I do for that? And it was saying, well, go over here and there'll be this button and click this button. And I say, there's no button like that. And he says, oh, that's because, you know, YouTube moved it. You got to go over here. And I go over there and there'd be no button. And it had me running around in circles until I figured it out myself. In fact, there was one thing that it was telling me, had me chasing around all over the place looking for this setting. And I finally found it because I asked Google Gemini about it. And Google Gemini told me right off the bat, instead of jerking me around for a half an hour the way ChatGPT did. Okay, now, this is our first live stream, as I said, and I'm really happy about it. And it was really a special occasion for me. However, this channel also had a second special occasion that's just as big or maybe bigger than this live stream. And that is, ta-da, yesterday we got word from Google, YouTube that we were finally monetized. Big news for me. I learned a whole lot about YouTube monetization over the past couple of months. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit. I'm sorry if you already know this or if this is boring for you, but it was quite a story. I was always under the impression, especially long ago, you hit 1,000 subscribers and that just about guaranteed monetization. So I was thinking, okay, you know, it'll take me, you know, a couple of years to get up there, but maybe I can get there eventually. And then YouTube changed its policy and said you only need 500 subscribers. So I thought, oh, hey, we can get there quicker. But besides the 500 subscribers, you also have to get watch hours. So you have X number of you have for 500 subscribers and 3,000 watch hours. That's called tier 1 monetization. And then once you get 1,000 subscriber and 4,000 watch hours, you get tier 2 monetization. Okay, tier 1 monetization, it means you can, you know, people can give you super, you know, they can give you tips and super chats and things like that. And so I hit 500 thanks to the immigration videos that I did. You know, a lot of people subscribed from that. So I hit 500, whammo, and I said, okay, man, I'm close to monetization. And then I looked at the watch hours and they were nowhere near 3,000. But I thought, yeah, it'll come. And I waited and waited and waited, and I kept getting more subscribers. Finally, I got 1,000 subscribers, which should be tier 2 monetization, but I still didn't have tier 1 level watch hours. So I was wondering about that because my YouTube creators page showed that I had all these thousands of watch hours, but they weren't registering. Then I found out another thing. If you're thinking about YouTube, remember this. YouTube doesn't count the watch hours that accumulate on your page as watch hours until they validate them. So they give you what is called valid watch hours. And it takes YouTube about a week to validate watch hours. So your watch hour count is always a week behind, and it's updated very slowly. It's not, okay, you got 500 views this day, and a week later you get 500 views. No, maybe you got 500 views this day, and a week later you'll get, 50 or 60 valid watch hours. It's a slow, arduous process. So now I am tier 1 monetization, even though I have about 1,600 or 1,700 subscribers, which is more than enough for tier 2, but I still have to accumulate watch hours. Now that's such a big long story. Sorry about that, but anyway, we are monetized up to tier 1, and so we will be changing the channel a little bit to take advantage of tier 1 monetization. One thing that we'll be doing is we'll be implementing a membership system. Don't worry, you don't have to be a member to watch our videos. I would never do that. But we're going to set up some kind of a membership system where, one level you're eligible to do something, level 2, level 3. So that's upcoming. But like I said, my objective is never to cut anybody out of anything. So don't worry about that. Also, for this live stream, I'm doing this straight in the YouTube environment or YouTube universe here. So it's very bare bones. But this is just to get me to see if I could do it, to see if it would work. And so all of you are in a historical event here. And the next time or sometime in the very near future, I'm going to be using a different software to do the live stream. And I want to have guests. If anybody out there, especially old timers, but even the new timers, if you want to appear on this live stream in the future with me, drop me a line, and I would be more than happy to include you in our in a live stream. All you'd have to do is I'll send you a link. You take the link, you put it in your browser, you sit in front of a camera, and we can have fun talking about all kinds of things. All I ask is that you be kind to everybody, and you be make a positive contribution to the discussion, and I'll welcome just about anybody. Also, in the near future, we're going to try to figure out a way. I know I can do it. It's part of a feature, but we're going to try to find out a way to, what shall I say, allow call-in video. And that is, while the live stream is going on, allow people in the audience to come in by video and join the discussion. Not as a scheduled guest, but as what we call call-in guest. Okay? All right. I hope that's not too confusing. I know what I'm talking about. The problem is, do you know what I'm talking about? But that's the big news, the big channel news. Okay, I'm going to tell you another thing. This is more channel news, and this is I had again two subscribers complaining to me about the word gaijin. Now, I have no idea how everybody feels about that. And so, but these two people came in here and they told me, don't use the word gaijin. The word gaijin, one guy says, the word gaijin literally means dirty person or lowly scum. So I read that and I right away thought, well, this person either doesn't know what the word literally means, or they don't know what the word gaijin means, or maybe both. But in case you don't know, gaijin basically means foreigner. And the Japanese people used it all the time in the past before it became a popular place for gaijins to go. And then, people came in and they started saying, oh, you shouldn't call you say that, and stuff like that. And I don't like being called a gaijin, and quit calling me that. And they started telling Japanese people how to speak Japanese. And so some people will say, oh, it's a dirty word. It's a slur. All right. And basically it's not. And even if it was, I'm a gaijin, so I guess I can use it. I mean, we know plenty of racial slurs and insults that are used by the people to whom they are addressed. So why can't I use gaijin? One guy said, quit using that term. That's like going into somebody's house and say, I don't like the color of your drapes. Change it to something else that I like. But anyway, that's the name of the channel, and I'm not going to change the name of the channel, and I'm not going to stop using this word. So if you're offended by that word, I apologize ahead of time, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to change it. Okay, another thing that I'll be doing that I'm planning to do, I got a brand new camera, and very portable, and it's a very popular portable camera. And I am experimenting now with doing some walk and talk videos. And that is, I go out for a walk in the neighborhood or wherever, and with my camera, and I talk about various things that are going on in Japan. Like I said, I did an experimental video just this afternoon, and it's starting to become pretty good. The first time I did it, some guys, who are very good creators, and I'm not criticizing anybody. Some guys do this, they have their camera out the end of their extended arm as they walk along, and you could actually look up their arm at their face. And I don't know, that just looks so uncomfortable. And maybe I'm a weakling, but I think my arm would get tired. So I tried carrying the camera like this. So I thought, yeah, I'll be cool, real cinematic shot there. And then I ended up, I think I recorded for almost 30 minutes, 20 or 30 minutes. And the audio was really good. I was able to speak pretty well. But then I looked at the video, I downloaded to my big screen on my computer, and I looked at the video, and it was 30 minutes of looking up my nostrils. It was pretty gross. And also, because I didn't realize this. If you guys knew this before, don't laugh at me too much. But I didn't realize, even though this camera cut out a lot of the movement, I didn't realize that every time your heel hits the ground when you're walking, the camera goes like this, right? And it looked horrible. It looked like, Godzilla was walking past me or something like that. And I'll say, I wasn't going to say this, but I will. When I'm holding like this, I tended to bend forward towards the camera, and I looked like some old guy plotting. It was horrible. So I thought, okay, I'm going to face the camera away from me and show the scenery as I walk along. And I did that, and I couldn't speak as well as I did when the camera was facing me. So I'm trying to work that out, but that is coming up soon, and it's going to be, I think it's going to work out really, really well. It'll give me more things to talk about rather than waiting for a topic that has enough to make a long form video. I got lots of people giving comments, and I'm going to turn to the comments in a minute. Let me say a few more things here. Okay. All right. This takes me to future plans next year. I didn't talk too much about what I'm doing normally every day, but I teach English writing at a university, usually three days a week. And I started this channel during the summer break, thinking, oh, when we get back into the regular semester, I'll have 4 days a week. I can work on YouTube, plenty. But they had a staffing shortage and all that kind of thing. They say, okay, can you work more days? And of course I did. You don't want to say no to something like that. And so this semester I've been under the gun trying to keep the keep the university work under control. Also, I still do translation work, Japanese to English translation of users manuals and catalogs and things like that. And that work still comes in. Not as much as before, which is one of the reasons I hate ChatGPT and other forms of AI. They're really killing the translation business. But I still have work that I have to do. And also, I play music in 2 bands. So this has been a real trip trying to keep this all together. However, as of the end of this year, my university schedule goes back to what it was before, and I'll have more time to devote to this channel. And if this channel is successful, and especially now that we're monetized, if we can start generating some kind of, especially if we get to tier 2. Tier 2 is when they give you the income from the Google ads. And in that case, if we start generating some income, well, I can let loose of some of the other work that I'm doing. So that's it for next year for this channel. And that's about all the channel news I have. Let's look at some of the comments that I have here. And Greg says, good evening, Greg. Hey, and Greg came here. He was in the Air Force in 1970. Hey, not that different, right? I mean, I was here in 1969. So Air Force, maybe you were in Yokota or in Tachikawa. I don't know, but Air Force, glad to have you, Greg. And I recognize your YouTube handle there. Thank you for your comments all the time. We got another one. Hello, half Okinawan, used to live in Japan. Now I'm watching you from Ghana. So cool. Welcome, Ghana. The International Japan Talk live stream. Glad to have you here. And thanks for joining. We got another one. Answer your comments. No fun. Well, you know, I answer as many comments as I see. I try to answer every comment that I see. However, if you have ever used YouTube or done a YouTube channel, how YouTube shows you the comments is spotty. Every time I see a comment come up and I answer it, and there are ways that they say, okay, look at all the comments you haven't answered yet. And I look at that regularly. And if I see a comment I haven't answered yet, I answer. However, I will not, and do not respond to comments of people who are just trying to make trouble, just trying to troll or get under my skin or something like that. So I will make a note of this is Nihongo Jump. I will take a look at it and I'll try to track you down. And if your comment is a serious one, I will definitely respond to it. Concerning comments, I'm going to tell you something. YouTube, in its wisdom. Now, as you know, YouTube and Facebook, you know, they were some of the pioneers of the shadow ban, right? So they're quite good at it, and they know what they're doing, and they made it into a fine art. Now, I'm going to tell you something that maybe not too many creators will tell you, but I'm honest with you. YouTube has given its creators, its channel owners like me, shadow ban capabilities. Now, if somebody comes into a channel and it's obvious, not what they're saying, but how they're acting, being too aggressive or insulting, click of a button, shadow bans them. They don't even know that they're shadow banned. So I didn't know that either until recently. It's a powerful tool, and it's one that you shouldn't use too cavalierly. However, just remember, keep it cool, right? As I always say, I don't want to become the language police for anybody. I'll watch my mouth. Please, you watch your mouth too. But don't come in and start insulting people or bossing people around, because you won't last too long if you do that. But anyway, Nihongo Jump, I'll check you out and try to get back to you. All right. And Jonathan Brown, Kumamoto has TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, which opened its first Japanese fabrication fab, JASM, Japan Advanced Semiconductor Manufacturing, there in early 2024. Yes, correct. And in fact, the article that I talked about previously mentioned that opening of that factory as one of the reasons that their foreign population exploded the way it did. So you're absolutely correct. Thank you for pointing that out, Jonathan. Okay, Japan Ham. Oh, you're back again. TSMC is a great addition to Kumamoto. Hope that they expand more. They're beautiful. Yeah, Kumamoto. I love Kumamoto. As I said, Fukuoka is my Japan hometown. When I first came to Japan, that's where I lived for 7 years or something like that. And I used to go to Kumamoto often because it's a great place. It's like, running around Montana, as a matter of fact. And they used to have a country western music festival there once a year called Country Gold. And they used to bring in big name country performers every year. And it was so cool because it was on an outdoor arena or amphitheater. And you'd be sitting on the grass and they'd have barbecues going and stuff like that. And some famous people would get up there and do their stuff. And after that, they'd come off the stage and start mingling with the crowds. And you could hang out with them and stuff like that. I got a picture of me and Daryl Singletary together. And Charlie Daniels was out there, Bellamy Brothers and Dwight Yoakam. But, that was when Nashville and country music was a little bit not as popular as it is now. And at one point, it became very commercialized. And these people just quit coming, or perhaps they started demanding more money. And Country Gold is not even existing anymore. I think they shut it down a couple of years ago. But it was such a good time, and I really love Kumamoto, and I really like hanging out there. Really great place, great people. Kyushu people are great people. Okay, all right, Jonathan, what happened, Jonathan? Jonathan Brown, message redacted. What happened? I don't know. That wasn't me, Jonathan. That wasn't me. Let me see if I can. Okay, Jonathan. Anybody, if you have something to say to me, and I didn't see your message, or like here, Jonathan Brown, message redacted. I have no idea why your message was redacted. If you want to contact me, if you have something you want to say and contact me, my contact email address is in the channel information. If you search around, you'll be able to find it. So you could always send me an email if there's some kind of a problem. So Jonathan, I'm really sorry that you got redacted, and I don't know how to, I don't know how to put your, okay, I'll try to find that later. Okay, next, Japan Ham. Sounds like you have some very interesting. Yeah, I hope so. It's fun. Create. To me, they say YouTube creator, content creator. To me, the creation is a gas. It's a lot of fun. I just hope that the content lives up to everybody's expectations. Okay, Japan Ham again. When I first came here, foreigners were rare, and kids would stare and point and say, "Gaijin." I would stay back and say, "Nihonjin," and all of us started laughing. Yes, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct in Japan Ham. It was very much like that. Down in Fukuoka, now, when I was down in Fukuoka, when I first got there, the Shinkansen only went as far as Osaka. So you can imagine what it was like to see a gaijin down in Fukuoka. I mean, it was a BFD. And I had occasions where I would be standing on the corner in downtown Tenjin in Fukuoka, and a bus would go by, and the bus would be filled with kids on their way to some kind of school excursion. And all the windows in the thing would open. Hey, gaijin, hello, gaijin. And it was hilarious. I mean, I used to call that the pseudo celebrity status. I might have mentioned this, you know, and you were stared at, and you were an object of interest. And like you said, people would stop and stare. I mean, within a couple of feet, Gaijin, you know. And to tell you the truth, I do that too when I'm with my wife. Sometimes, you know, if we're out somewhere and I see some Gaijin, I'll say, "Ah, Gaijin." And she gets a big kick out of that and tells me, "Shut up, you know, they might hear you." You know? Okay. Japan Ham, nothing wrong with the word gaijin. Get over it. I agree. Japan Ham again. Would your new camera be the Cosmo Pocket 3? Osmo, yeah. Great camera. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And that is. Yes, yes, it is. As you can probably deduce from my talking about stabilization. I love it. You know, there's a lot of rumors going out about the Pocket 4, and maybe that's true because the Pocket 3 has been discounted a lot recently. It could be a sign that the Pocket 4 is on the way out, on the way in. But, you know, if the Pocket 4 does come out, you know, I'm not looking to shoot, you know, motion pictures or anything like that. So, and I figure that the Pocket 4 probably will be very expensive. And so I just went ahead, you know, like I said, they discounted it like 30,000 yen. So I said, yeah, okay, I'll take it. And it's always something I wanted to do. There are things I want to do. You know, I think it would be so cool if you can get one of those clips and clip it onto your backpack strap or your lapel or something like that and just walk down the street and record stuff going on as you walk down the street. You know, sounds cool. Whether it can be done or not, I'll let you know. Oh, by the way, talking about doing that, shooting in the street, did you see that Gaijin get smacked over the head in his YouTube video? He was in Kabukicho in Shinjuku and shooting around there, self-shooting, and some guy came up behind him and smack right across the back of his head. And all the headlines said, you know, American YouTuber attacked by local in Tokyo, and the guy who hit him was a black guy, and they're calling him a local, and I don't think he was Japanese. And then they were saying, well, he was I'm not sure about this pronunciation, a tout, Tout, which is, I guess, a nice name for something like that. And so the guy didn't like that the Gaijin may have recorded his face, and it really upset him. So, okay. So, yeah, it is the Osmo Pocket 3. So, unemployed math major. Okay. Hi, a new grad youngster. Hey, kid, just arrived in Tokyo a month ago. Hey, welcome, man. You're the future. Okay, diversity is our strength, you know. So glad to see you. Glad to have you here. Keep an open mind. Don't expect everything to work out exactly the way you want it to work out. Stay relaxed, stay friendly, stay polite, stay cool, and you'll be a success. I can promise you that. So I hope you stick with the channel, and looking forward to seeing you around here. Okay, and then we have Janu Kag, number 3 there. Hi, good evening. Glad to see you. Unemployed math major, good evening. Okay, we just talked to you. Tachikawa for a few days, then Itazuke for a few days, and then on a train to Matsui, and was stationed with the JSDF at a radar site in Takatoyama Miho Base. Wow, Japan Ham. Okay, Itazuke, I think it was called Itazuki. We used to call it that. Yeah, that's how I got down there too. From there, I was in a place called Brady Air Base on the other side of Tokyo, Hakata Bay, and it was actually right at the edge of a national park. It was great duty, and you know, beaches everywhere, and really loved it there. It was a nice place. Okay, unemployment, yes. Okay, all right. And Japan, I would point and say, Naji. not Nihonjin, Najin, Naijin. Okay, Naijin, not Gaijin, but Naijin, as opposed to Gaijin. There you go. It sometimes takes a second for them to realize what I said, and when they did, we all laughed. Yeah. I never really ran into a Japanese person that had ill intent using the word Gaijin. One guy, I answered one guy one time, and it's not that long ago, a couple months ago. Some guy was in front of this big group of people, of which I was one. And he talked about, I was in California a couple of weeks back, and I went to a Dodgers game. And during the game, I got up and I went to buy a beer or a drink or something like that. And when I came back, there was a gaijin sitting in my seat. And I said, hey, man, you were in California. You were the gaijin. What are you talking about? And everybody cracked up, including him. But I never care about gaijin. Naijin, there's a good one. Japan Ham. I also have a Pocket 3 with accessories. Great camera and fun to use. Yes, it is. All right. Rumpelstiltskin. Live chat. Cool. Hey, Rumpelstiltskin. Yeah. Nice to have you here. Good name. And Itazuki. Yeah. No. You wrote Itazuki, and I didn't correct you because I was trying to, show off or anything like that. Because that's exactly what we called it back then. We always called it Itazuki. But because it ends with an E. And then we, eventually you find out, that E is it in Japanese. And so, okay, Takayama. I don't even know the Takaoyama Miho base. That's down in Kyushu? I never heard of that. Okay, maybe you could tell us about it sometimes. All right, as I said, that'll about do it for today for the first time. About 45 minutes. I think that's pretty good. I want to say thank you to everybody for joining us here today for our first one. I could make my announcement about our monetization, which really meant a lot to me. I thought, as I said, it was going to take me a couple of years. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to your response to our immigration videos. We were able to get first tier monetization in 3 months. So I really appreciate that. And what we're going to do is, what I'm doing now is I'm trying to get in contact with an immigration lawyer. And I'm going to try to set up an interview video. I don't think, live stream would be good for such an interview. But I'm going to do a videotaped interview and, treat this person with total respect and give them, final editing say of the video before I publish it. But I'm going to try to see if I can get some, not inside, but some educated information about what's in store for Japanese immigration next year. Oh, got a couple more. John Carroll, thank you for your service. I served in the Navy. Hey, Navy in Yokosuka. Presently, I live in Otsushiga. Okay. Hope to catch your live stream. Okay. And Takaoyama is on the Shimano Peninsula. Okay, I'm going to have to look that up. I had never heard of that. I know there were a lot of bases around in those days, and until they started closing everything back in 1972 about. Okay, John Carroll, Navy. I used to, when I was in Japan, I didn't have much contact with the Navy guys, even though we had Navy guys running around where I was working. But I had contact with Navy guys when I was at my station before Japan, which was Shimya, Alaska. And if you want, I'll tell you about Shimya one of these days. Shimya is a island at the end of the Aleutian chain, 2 miles by 4 miles. And before I went there, I said to some guy, some guy who was higher ranking, I guess you call him senpai in Japanese. I said to some senpai, what's it like in Shimya? And he says, great. There's a girl behind every tree. And then when I got there, I found out that there wasn't a single tree on the island. It was just tundra, rock, and snow. And it was 15 months there. And to tell you the truth, that's how I ended up in Hakata. And I might have mentioned this in a video. When I I had the right to choose my next duty station or have some say in my next duty station. And they said, where do you want to go? And I said, Japan. I want to go to Japan, because I had a guy telling me how great it was. And they said, well, with your kind of MOS, there are 2 duty stations, Hakata and Chitose. And I didn't know Hakata, Chitose, anything. And if you guys all probably know, you folks probably know, Chitose is up in Hokkaido, which is really cold. But I didn't know that. So, I was like, 20 years old at the time. So I said to the guy, which one is warmer? And they said, Hakata. So I said, okay, Hakata. And that changed my life. That decision changed my life. Okay. Okay. Totori. Shimane. Yeah, I know Shimane. Totori. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You joined John Carroll, you joined the Navy because you wanted to come to Japan. Good for you. When I got out of school, I guess some services call it tech school. I went to school, Army school in Fort Devens, Massachusetts, and we submitted what we call our dream sheet. And I asked for Korea. And I think I mentioned in one of my videos, my teacher, this E6, hated me. I could tell by the look on his face half the time he wanted to wrap his hands around my neck and throttle me. And for good reason, I'll say. That time I was like 18 or 19, had a real smart mouth on me. And, I was always giving people the business and stuff like that. And to this day, I think, I have no way of knowing, I think he told the people who were assigning duty stations, send this guy to Vietnam. But my brother was already there. So they had a policy back in those days, don't send siblings to Vietnam at the same time unless they really wanted to go. And so they gave me what they thought was the second worst assignment, which was Shemya, Alaska. And as horrible as it sounds, it was closer to the Kamchatka Peninsula than it was to Anchorage. But as horrible as that sounds, and it was horrible in terms of off-duty time. There was nothing to do there except, go bowling or shoot baskets or go to the movies or drink. But the work, the on-duty work was some of the most exciting, thrilling times I've spent in my entire life. I wish I could tell you about it. Okay. All right. That'll be it for today. And I want to say one more time, thank you for all you guys and gals and folks for joining us today. I'm really thrilled. We had about 9 or 10 people. Some people were going in and out. I don't know if that's YouTube or what, or the connection or what have you. Thank you, Ghana, for coming all that way. Thank you for everybody else who's coming in from Japan and Okinawa and everywhere else. And I hope you'll join us next time. This is such a success, and you people are so kind. I think I'm going to try to do this on a regular basis. I'm not going to promise weekly yet, but from next year, we'll try to do this on a weekly basis, and be on the lookout for the walk and talk videos too. Okay, everybody, thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Yeah, this is, oh, by the way, this will go up on the channel. You can take a look at it. Okay, I don't know what else to do. I said thank you. I expected, like a Zoom call, everybody would start dropping out. So I'm just going to end the stream now, and we'll see you at the next one. All right, thanks again. Bye-bye.